Hello everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of the PvP Live podcast. How is everyone doing? I'm joined by PvP Live bloggers Davis, Tobias, and Paul. How the heck are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
I am doing excellent.
Doing good, same.
Tobias, how about you, bud?
I still got a cold. I think I worked too much the last weeks and smoked too many cigarettes. But apart from that, I'm well. So, hi.
That's all right. Well, you sound like an angel.
Okay. I actually don't want to sound like an angel, so I probably should smoke more cigarettes. Okay, let's change
Yeah, you want to lower that voice. So, jumping right into some things. So, what have you guys been doing this week in PvP land?
Spamming many arenas. That's what we've been doing.
Yeah, getting that rating up, or what have you been doing?
Playing pretty much every character I have. Just getting up rating this early.
Nice. Tobias, how about yourself?
Yeah, I also played. I didn't have time to really play a lot, so I played a bit of my monk with Paul actually, and but I didn't find real consistent teams yet with my chars, just because I had such a week with so much stuff to do. I played some RPGs today as Rogue, and but nothing too much going on until now. I played a lot of Hearthstone. I reached a 3-star Masters League there.
Nice.
So
have they done that big reset yet?
no.
No, it's
They
coming up
haven't
soon,
done
though,
it
right?
yet. Coming soon, yeah.
Paul, what have you been up to other than playing some arenas with Tobias?
Well, outside of WoW and still gaming, I've just been I'm the type of person who I have an old computer, so I don't really play a lot of new games. So I play a lot of like emulators, like
Right.
old games. That's what I love doing. So
What
new
are you
game
playing,
was
like
not-
Mario Kart?
Stuff of that nature, but RPGs mainly.
Okay.
I'm playing Tales of Abyss right now. That's a
Nice.
good game. You should all try it.
Didn't a new one just come out for 3DS?
I
Actually?
think a new Tales game came out, and I think there's another one coming, a major release coming this year or next. So.
I know
should be good.
we're getting completely off topic here, but Paul, have you ever played Chrono Trigger?
Of course,
Okay,
man.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, that was one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite games of all times.
Actually, funny about that is the sequel or prequel to that, Chrono Cross. So few people have played that, and it's really good as well. So, I don't know why people just stopped with Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, I think
they should play that one.
Chrono Trigger was like one of the bases for Super Nintendo as far as RPGs go.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like we're getting way off topic talking about Nintendo and emulators and crazy shit.
But actually, I have one story to tell about that.
Please.
I read today in the newspaper that some guy started to play every single role-playing game, RPG game, since the starting of computer games. And
That's
he
amazing.
made it his goal kind of to play every game, and he writes about them, he blogs about them. And I think he now has done the 80s and is moving on to the 90s now. And pretty crazy, but it's kind of computer games are part of the culture now. It's getting bigger.
It's crazy, actually, and I'm going to go off on one more tangent here. I used to be so against League of Legends, guys, and everyone here knows that, as far as the PvP Live bloggers here. And I just got into it this weekend, and I was watching the semifinals, the regionals in California, and oh my God, what a production they put on. I mean, it was absolutely... I was blown away. I've never watched like a live event, a League of Legends event before, and man, I've been missing something. Because, I mean, that's like a multi-million-dollar production that they put on. It's unbelievable.
It's awesome.
Anyway,
Definitely.
Yeah, they're pushing it really hard.
it shows. They did an excellent job, and I hope to God... Maybe one day, PvP Live can do something like that for World of Warcraft. But anyways, getting back into PvP news. So Tuesdays, there was a bunch of hotfixes released. And I think probably one of the biggest ones was to marksmanship hunters with 50% damage increase to the Chimera shot. Just starting with Davis. So, what do you think? Have you encountered any marks hunters in Arena so far this week?
I haven't seen that many hunters, to be honest. I played a few games with one the other night, and he was saying that Mark's damage, or at least the spec itself, isn't as good as survival is, and survival is still better even with that buff and stuff like
Survivor got buffed too.
Yeah,
or-
they got a 10% to explosive shot.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Is that
that's
actually a big part of the damage, the explosive shot?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is. Like they get like that's where all their like procs are and stuff like that. So they get like procs to shoot off 2 of them or 3 of them or something.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's basically my experience with them is that people still don't want to play marks and would rather play survival. Or I've still seen a few BM hunters, but not as many as usual.
Paul. Paul, how about you? Have you encountered any crazy damage from Mark's Hunters this week?
Only once I've met a couple in arena, and only once was I like pretty shocked at the damage that was put out on me. It was like I can't remember this game specifically, but I do remember like we're winning this game most of it, and then the Marks Hunter just turns to me. I'm on full HP, and in like I don't know if he had like a huge amount of procs. I honestly don't know Marks that well, so I can't say what it was. But he almost dropped me from like 100 to about 20% in a couple seconds, and I was like, because I underestimated Marks.
Jeez.
I'm like, Marks is by far the worst hunter spec, or at least that's what everyone says. So it's like, this is no problem. He's targeting me. It's not an issue at all. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I almost died, and I was like, I had to use something to keep myself alive. And my healer's in the chat, and he's saying that he saved my life, and he's probably right about that. So it was pretty crazy damage, but I really think these buffs are a mistake at this point in the game because everyone's still in bad gear and they're buffing damage already.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like
they always do this.
Yeah, we said before too. You know, it's really hard to actually get a complete gauge of the actual damage people are going to output until everyone's in full Grievous gear. So, Tobias, how about you? Have you encountered any Marks Hunters in arenas this week?
Yes, actually, I think we played some. I think it's still the explosive trap stun combo is pretty annoying. How's this arrow called? They put on the ground, and when you walk out of the area, you get stunned. I always forget the name of that skill.
Binding shot.
Binding shot,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's I think they have some tools. I'm not a hunter expert, so I can't comment really on their rotation. But as far as I understand, just from the CC, they are still the best, probably, aren't they? Like, BM is the best to get out of CC, Marksman does still the most CC, so what does Survival actually win by? It's just damage, or?
Just pure damage, yeah, it's by far the most damage.
Okay,
So.
About damage, DKs are crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about that real quick, Tobias. I know you were commenting on it a couple days ago in our chat room. What have you seen from DKs?
I was playing with a Mistweaver monk, and he had full PvP gear and even still some left out resilience gems, and he got me in this 5-second stun. And as Mistweaver, you're 2.5 seconds immune if you go into a stun, so you don't get damaged at all. And I went from 100 to 0 in this RBG without a Berserker proc or anything, just from damage. And I was, oh wow, that actually never happened to me on my Mistweaver before. Usually I'm super safe if someone just tries to stun me down. And so I died without trinketing, and I don't know, I talked to Paul also and confirmed, but I saw that DKs are doing crazy damage, like literally 50% more than most other classes, except maybe Affliction Logs or something. So it's pretty strong. I don't think they're overpowered necessarily, but their damage output is incredible.
Davis, Tobias and Paul have seen this, but maybe Tobias isn't as good as a player as he thought he was. So maybe that's why. No, I'm completely kidding. Davis, have you also seen this from DKs?
The crazy DK damage, I don't know. I expect it now. It's always been that way, hasn't it? Like, it's always been DK's doing crazy damage. And, like, it always feels like their damage is really slow to begin with. But then sometimes you just get, like, destroyed by one. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of used to DKs being one of the dumbest class. But they're a hero class, so it makes sense,
Right.
They're a hero class. They're allowed to be OP. So
about that, double blood DKs in 2s. Seriously? Like, seriously? I mean...
I'm guessing that's going to the buff at the end of the match. That's probably going to be a 15-minute match.
Yeah, but they just win it because you don't get them low enough. I played with a pretty good warrior today on my Mistweaver monk, and we had this match and it went to 15 minutes, and there was just no chance to get him below something like 30%. I tried to do damage, but I just hit for nothing on as a healer on them. And for example, a rogue, I can just kill a rogue as a Mistweaver 1 versus 1. And yeah, so
Actually,
I
on the
don't
on the note of that too, have you guys? I wish Airden was in the chat. I believe he was talking about it earlier today or the previous day. The crowd chooses you. Have you guys encountered this at all this week? And
Quite a few times, yeah.
yeah,
I've
in your
won,
favor
won
or not
games
favor?
and lost games.
Yeah.
Nah, well, I think they needed to do something, but I don't think this was the right way to do it because it's changed the way the meta works. Like, I've literally gotten to games where we're like, it's like 10 minutes into the game, and I'm literally telling my partners now, okay, the buff's coming up. We changed the way we play. You use something earlier than you would. The thing I don't like about it is that it punishes good play. Like if you're a paladin and you save your bubble to 1%,
Yeah.
to like you don't bubble and you're 1% and you manage to live because of that, you're actually being punished by this buff. So I think that yeah, they needed to do something, but this was the wrong thing, and they probably need to change it. So
I think they will change it.
yeah.
I mean, do you think they should just
what
make
I
it
think
longer?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think. I don't think it matters how long the thing will be. They just have to change the buff itself
Right.
into something completely different. I mean, you can't punish someone for playing well. That's stupid.
And the thing is about it is it really, like, you can drop down low and still be okay, if you know what I mean. Like, your healer can sit in CC and know
Yeah.
that you're not gonna die, but you're still gonna drop low, and so it discourages even like optimal usage of cooldowns and spacing out cooldowns and things like that. It kind of encourages everyone to pop everything as quick as they can just to make sure that they don't pop low,
That's
drop
true.
low.
That's true. That's true.
Which
it
I mean,
hurts, it hurts my playstyle a bit because I'm used to holding my stuff for as long as possible.
yeah,
Like I
definitely.
like using my cooldown sometimes. Like I mean, I've lost games sometimes in the first like 10 seconds because I didn't want to use anything, and that's a problem. But I'm just so used to that. I think there's a lot of people like that. I've just had to completely change the way they play.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think the vast majority of players that are playing at a top level are used to kind of only using their cooldowns when they really, really, really need to, if you know what I mean. Whereas nowadays it's like, in theory, you might have to stack a bunch of cooldowns just so you don't drop down low enough to be killed by the crowd chooses you or whatever.
So if they are changing it, what do you think it will be?
I really couldn't say. The thing about Blizzard is that they change things. I mean, they often change something that needed to be changed, but do it in the wrong way. That's something they've done quite a lot. So
I think it should. Sorry, I cut you out there.
No, it's fine. Okay.
I think it should make it gradually easier to win rather than instantly easy to
Right.
just win straight away. So, but I understand people, like, there are probably still some classes that could run around if you're only doing 10% extra damage or whatever. So they need to figure it out. But I think it needs to be more gradual rather than just straight away 15 minutes. Okay, they one-shot me. Oh well.
So what would you prefer? I mean, there's some options. There's actually the damage buff. There is the healing debuff, and there's a combination of both. What would you prefer, personally?
My only problem with this type of mechanic, and like I said, I know that they needed to do something, but getting below a certain percentage of HP, that doesn't mean that you played better. That just means maybe you got lucky. Not lucky, but maybe you did a good CC chain for once, and you got someone to say 5%. But what if the other team got you to 10% 100 times or something like that? That's in a situation. Yeah. So I really don't know how they can fix this mechanic to make it fair. At the most, you'd think like some stacking debuff every like X amount of seconds, say 30 seconds or something like that. Just something of that nature is probably the best thing.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see in the weeks to come how Blizzard handles that, because it does seem like, as far as people on Twitter complaining about the buff, and obviously the people complaining are, on the opposite end of that. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see exactly how they're gonna fix that. I don't know. Moving on as far as hot fixes go. Moving on to warlocks. So Affliction Warlocks got a nerf. The periodic damage from Haunt that used to be at 40% is now down to 35% with a 5% nerf. So have you guys seen? I don't think really any of you play Warlocks as your main, right?
I have one.
Oh, you do?
No, I have a null. But it's not.
Okay. So I mean, it seems like it could be a decent nerf to Affliction Warlocks. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I would say it's a PvE nerf. I wouldn't
Really?
say it has much to do with. Yeah, I mean, Warlocks have always been the same. That they always do very good spread pressure, but a Warlock single target damage has always been generally quite low.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not Warlocks are not doing like huge damage with Haunt. I mean, the only thing I can think about is that it's doing too much in PvE. I can't see this being anything to do with PvP at all.
Well, how about the destruction buff to Immolate? Increased by what is it? It's increased by 30% for Immolate damage.
I haven't seen a lot of destruction locks at all, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems
Just
like
Affliction seems to be
right. Oh, Tobias, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Destruction kind of get hit the most by the change that you can't cast while running anymore. So that, yeah, I think Destruction is pretty dead for PvP. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think it's the top spec anymore. I actually haven't really seen Demo too much. People tell me it's really, really strong at the moment. Especially in twos, it's really strong, I heard.
Yeah.
Did any of you play against Demo? Or
In
I've seen it a few
5v5,
times, but
seen a few of them. But go on.
I've seen it a few times in Arena, and I can't really say that it's super strong. I mean, it seems to be the middle child right now. Affliction's the strongest, I think. Most of us agree with that. I think I agree with what Tobias said. I think they were hit hardest the most by the run speed thing, the change to that. So I think Demo is it's better than Destruction, but I don't think it compares at all. I think if you play Demo, it's because you want to play Demo, not because it's better for your comp or better in general.
I think it really depends on the comp you're playing. Affliction is obviously this high spread pressure multi-dotting thing, and I don't know, is Demo also that AoE focused like Affliction is? Or does it have
really.
more single target?
It's much.
Weehal is in the chat. Is this the real Weehal? Sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Oh wow. Hey Weehal.
Wow,
Hello.
he's a wizard.
But yeah, I think didn't actually they get another hotfix, a nerf to imps? Didn't I hear that?
Yeah,
They did. They
That's a
nerfed
huge.
the imps. That
that's
was
a huge
actually
change.
huge.
Yeah.
That
'cause-
the imps, people really underestimated how much damage those imps did. When I saw those imps, I ran away. I was not
Yes.
standing there getting hit by 5 or 6 imps. It does so much damage. That's a far bigger change for Warlocks, I think. Well, at least
I feel like for Warlock specs, like in terms of what they play, it tends to be if they think they can stay alive as Affliction, then they play Affliction. If they don't think they can stay alive as Affliction, then they play Destro. Well, they also play Destro if they watch every Drake Dog movie or whatever. And if they still think they can't stay alive, then they usually play Demo. But after the imp change, I haven't seen Demo as much. Like every now and then you would see it before the imp change because the imps did crazy damage. But nowadays, I don't know. It's kind of fallen off. I see a lot of Destro locks in 5s, actually more than I thought I would. But
Well,
apart from that,
Destro's still Destro's the way it's always been. If you can get cast off as Destro, it's good, but you just generally can't. So fives and RPGs is where you'll see Destro, but I mean right now maybe in Wizard Cleaves you'll see Destro, but I still think it would be worse than Affliction.
As Novas is in the chat, maybe he can just write us real quick. They played with a Destro lock and qualified for BlizzCon. Do you guys plan to continue to play Destro, or do you guys switch to Affliction or Demo?
I think Thug went Affliction for a little
He went
while. I saw him
Affliction?
playing.
Yeah,
I saw him playing some games as Affliction, but I don't know if that was
just
their
messing
general.
around or not.
Yeah.
We'll give a few seconds for Novos to answer that in chat, if he would. Moving on as far as rogues changes, and I'm going to obviously throw this right over to Davis. And first, I want to bring up the point that Davis wrote an excellent guide to daggering on pvp-live.com, so make sure to check that out. Basically, rogues got a pretty big buff to sub. Davis, you want to talk about that real quick?
We did. And now it feels a bit like we could get to Cataclysm stages of damage, which is worrying for everyone else and fantastic for us.
Right.
Definitely.
But yeah, rogue damage and survivability at the moment is really getting to be on point, and especially when gear starts to improve and stuff like that. I think at the end of the season, people are gonna be hating rogues, and unless there's some sort of unless there's a change that comes in or something, but people are going to be complaining about rogues again. And I think the key problem that makes people complain about rogues is they have so many tools, so as soon as their damage reaches a level that's kind of like a little bit too much, it feels like way too much, because they can lock you down for so long compared to any other class, and then like pile damage into you. So
well, it seems right now, it seems like the most popular spec is probably Mutilate. Do you think that a lot more rogues are going to be maybe switching over to sub, or is that a possibility? Or do you think they're two split, black and white? I'm either Mutilate, sub. That's it.
I think there's a lot of that in the rogue community. It's like I'm a Mutilate player at heart because I played during Wrath and that's when I was at my best. Or I'm a sub player at heart because I played during Kata or TBC, and I just like that playstyle. So I think there's a good portion of rogue players that just they play the spec they enjoy regardless of how good it is, really. And I think this is one of the best patches for that, because every spec is doing pretty good, even combat apparently. But I don't know how I feel about that. Hildegard can tell you more about how combat is.
Well, Davis, isn't combat's your main spec, isn't it?
No, combat is not my main spec.
I'm just kidding. I know Tobias plays Rogue a lot also. Tobias, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree completely with the damage being crazy at the end of the season. Probably combat is still good for some stuff like 1 versus 1 in RPGs and stuff, because you have this very fast burst, very strong burst, and you're immune to CC, and so it has some uses, but probably no one will play it as soon as you have to buy the weapons. Maybe later season. The other thing is the rogue buffs come too late. It's another BlizzCon where the rogues just missed the good patch really shortly. This time the qualification phase was just really bad phase for rogues. They were too weak, and now we have the BlizzCon, and rogues would probably be able to take the BlizzCon with the current state of the class. But now no one is going, no regionals and stuff, so it's a bit sad. I really think Rogue is the most iconic class in WoW, and we just can't see them ever going to BlizzCon and winning it.
Yeah, I think the Rogue community is like a really interesting one, and I'm not sure how it's developed into the community it is, but for some reason Rogues feel very diehard about being a Rogue. That's my experience.
Yeah, that's
true. And every Rogue would. I think if a Rogue got to BlizzCon, then it would be like almost every Rogue player would be sat watching it. Like, even if you weren't that interested in PvP, like, there's just something about Rogues where you're like, oh, dude, there's a Rogue in the final? Oh, I'm gonna watch that then, because there's just something interesting about it. But maybe that's just my perspective, because I think Rogue is an art form rather than just a class you can play.
It's so different from any other class you play. I think it's completely unique playstyle. You don't have this on any class.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's quite hard to get used to Rogue if you've never played Rogue before, maybe, unless it's really good. But yeah.
Paul,
we should stop fanboying Rogues, or Paul will come in.
Oh yeah, Paul. Do you have any thoughts on the 10% damage buff to subs?
Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what I was talking about earlier on, where I said I really don't agree with these buffs. Like, I've already said this to pretty much everyone I know, that rogues, even before this buff, are probably going to be the strongest melee when they're fully geared, because rogues are just I think rogues are like the melee that scales the best with gear, and they've pretty much always have been, at least, you know. And at the end of the season, they were already going to be the strongest. I think this is just going to be overkill. I agree with what Davis said. I think Rogue's probably not as bad as Cataclysm, but they're going to be quite close to it, I think. I'm not looking forward to it, to be frank.
Who wants to be soloed in a dance behind a pillar?
I had that too much in Season 11. I don't want to say that.
Well, at least now you can't blame it on dumb PvE gear, and you can actually.
Yeah, I could just say the class is dumb.
Yeah.
That's not great. It's not Legendary's fault anymore. It's just the class.
The legendaries weren't actually that good compared to the other. The
No, but
Rogues
people
didn't even use the legendaries in the end. They used other weapons from Deathwing, but yeah.
Moving
yeah,
on.
but it's easy to pick that one out. So.
Just moving on to probably the last large hotfix buff was to mages, which is Ice Lance damage was increased by 20% and the Water Bolt's damage was increased by 10%. Davis, starting with you, have you come up across any Frost mages where this has made a big difference in any kind of match?
Yes, and Frost mages seem to be doing much better damage. They were feeling a little bit weak, I think.
That's what a lot of people were saying,
this hotfix, and I think now their damage is in a kind of okay place. I kind of like where their damage is at the moment, and I think it's dumb when mage damage is at a point where every deep freeze is like ridiculously scary, and you need a 30% shield wall or whatever to like make sure you live through it. But I think mage damage at the moment is at a good point where their damage is scary, but it's not like every 30 seconds you're worried about just dropping dead because they got a deep freeze on you.
Tobias, how about you? As far as mage damage goes, the buff.
Yeah, I think it's completely in order. I don't think mages scale too brutally. Usually classes scale really good if they scale with haste. And I don't think mages are stacking haste, do they?
Some of them are trying.
Some are now?
Some of them are trying. Yeah.
I've definitely seen some trying it.
I'm not sure what the exact logic is between being haste or mastery or intellect or crit or whatever, but
isn't it just the same? Sorry to interrupt. Isn't it just the same as the other ones? It's like it's an extra tick on whichever one they play with, Never Tempest or I can't remember the other one, the fire
Living
one.
Bomb.
Yeah. I think it's just. I think most of it is just to get an extra tick, so you have an extra chance for a proc.
I think
that's
some
the same
are.
with Inkins and
I think some are even going past that though, and just stacking haste to a point where they can cast really fast polys and sheeps and stuff like that. Maybe that's because they have melees on them so often, so they want to be able to cast quicker, so they can at least get some off. I don't know, but a lot of them seem to be trying haste, which is interesting.
Well, it's good. It seems like a lot of the Frost mages aren't complaining as much anymore, which, there's such a large majority, especially Twitch streamers. A huge majority of, Frost mage PvP Twitch streamers out there, and, you have to keep them happy, right? Anyways, moving on to, Blizzard finally responded to the conquest errors. The cap was inflated, so they despawned the Valor vendors. This kind of started a huge upset, with people getting full Grievous gear and titles already. Starting with you, Paul, what do you think? What do you think about this whole scene and what Blizzard has been doing about it?
I can't believe this happened again. That's what my opinion is about this. This has happened before as well. I can't remember exactly if this is 100% true, but I'm pretty sure it was season 10 that this happened again, where they accidentally didn't put a rating requirement on tier 2 weapons, and I think almost everyone had tier 2 weapons. At least everyone who played and got the points had tier 2 weapons before anyone else did.
Yeah.
And it was like there's so many times that this has happened. Like I remember another time, I think it was season 9, where people got extra gear and they Blizzard removed it, but people had deleted it and they used the item restore to get it again. And I don't get it. Blizzard just doesn't seem to learn when they make these mistakes. It happens multiple times. Like season after season, every expansion, something fucks up and they just, I don't know, they don't learn at all. It's silly.
It's actually kind of interesting, and I think one of our bloggers brought it up, that it seems like Blizzard responds faster to PvE, problems than they do for PvP, where I feel like this has been going on a little bit too long, or there hasn't been a fast enough fix for what happened, basically.
But to be honest, if you compare to Cataclysm, times for fixes, MOP is like a world of a difference. In Cataclysm, you had so much stuff that went on forever and ever and ever. And now the fixes are kind of, they are not as fast as we would like, but they are far better than in previous expansion as far as PvP goes.
Well, here's a good example. So say Method was running, the Siege of Orgrimmar, and 20 epic weapons dropped. Do you think they would still have those weapons right now?
No.
No.
This happened. Dragon Soul, when LFO was released, they messed up and you could run it over and over in different groups. And think about it, Nihilium, Insidia, all the big European guilds and a couple of American guilds all got an 8-day ban.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I mean, you literally have to DDoS everyone in fucking Europe to get that kind of ban for PvP.
Right.
That just wouldn't happen at all. Like, I mean, you can do the most dodgy stuff in PvP and nothing happens to you. But in PvE, you do something that you don't even know you don't even know if it's wrong, and you get a weak ban plus. I mean... Yeah,
PvP is the slimy underbelly of World of Warcraft, I guess.
Nah,
no, I'm kidding.
No, it is because there's no consequences.
Right.
There's absolutely no consequences.
Right. Davis, how about, do you have any thoughts?
What happened to the people? The gear got removed and...
Yeah. It was just removed and they got an 8-day ban, and after that it was fine. They missed out on a week of gearing, and that was it.
No, I mean, this expansion, this season, did any bans happen with the gear reset?
No bans as far as I'm aware. People got the gear removed, and apparently there were people who were complaining like, oh, but I sold all my tyrannical gear.
So what am I going to do?
They gave them the equivalent tyrannical gear to the piece that they bought. As far as I'm aware.
But they didn't get any points refunded or anything,
right? Restored, or you... how's
the Grievous gear that people had was converted to the equivalent tyrannical piece. Okay. That's what they ended up doing. But
they lost a lot of points. They lost basically their first week of getting...
So you still got to keep like the one piece that you would have bought anyway, if you know what I mean. So if you bought like a trinket or whatever, then you could still hold on to, like, you still got the trinket, but any pieces you bought above the cap,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, people did this on purpose. I mean, you couldn't accidentally do this, and there was no punishment whatsoever for it. People
I accidentally did.
Yeah, I accidentally bought a full Grievous set.
I remember you trying to defend yourself on Twitter.
I accidentally did all of it.
Yeah. I accidentally got a full set of Grievous gear. I don't know what happened.
I mean, the ladder's still affected by it. For example, there's still people on the front page of the ladder who leveled up with full Grievous gear. So there was literally no punishment whatsoever. They didn't even reset the ladder or anything.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think that the current ladders will be staying anyways. So people will level up, and we have a lot more teams active. But still, there's something that bothers me, actually. As far as I understood, the queues are still battle group based. So you only get region-wide queues after like 7 minutes. Is this true?
I'm not sure of the exact timing. Is it 7 minutes? Is that?
I'm not sure the exact time either, but it's still the exact same. I mean, the whole rating region-wide ladder thing hasn't changed at all. Like, nothing has changed.
Yeah,
this is really odd that they would do a region-wide ladder and then you actually can't play the teams you're competing with.
But it's probably to do with because they've got different battle groups hosted on different servers. It's probably to do with that. Like, so it's probably like in an ideal world, they don't want you to face someone from a different server because the ping is a little bit different. Like, I know in a few games I've had, like, people I've been facing have had pings that I can't catch up to them or whatever like that. So maybe
as melee, that's super annoying if people have high ping because you're standing on top of them and you just don't hit them.
Yeah, it's I want to use my super OP backstab and I can't because nobody can give me that back.
About promises, I have one more thing. because do you remember Holinka announcing that you could cap RBGs and arenas in any direction you would like? So you can do arenas first or RBGs first,
Right.
and you still get the cap either way. Do you
Yeah,
remember
that's
that?
not.
Oh yeah.
That's not working, is it?
Nope.
Exactly. So I thought it was implemented. I didn't get my points. I wrote a ticket, and GM just told me it has been implemented, but it was kind of officially announced, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, there was a huge hype about it. Like I remember
Yeah.
specifically, people were so excited, and even I remember Olivia Grace on their podcast show. I can't remember. She was even talking about how excited she was for it.
So actually, the cookies she sent to Linka
Yeah.
this week, there was a picture on Twitter.
Yeah. Get
So
them
they're
back.
wasted because
Get
he
those
actually
cookies
didn't
back.
implement
You should
it.
take them back, yeah.
So you have to get
Olinka
the
better
cookies
send
back.
those
That's true.
cookies back.
Give back the cookies, man.
Actually, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Has anyone
Yeah. Go to Twitter and hashtag give back the cookies.
Hashtag get back the cookies.
Has anyone heard any responses from anyone, Holinka or anyone, about what's going on with that, with the points in the RBGs?
No.
No.
I don't think
Actually,
they
no.
remember it.
I think we've all been a bit too distracted by the fact that people are running
Oh.
around with full tyrannic
Yeah, that's
or
right. Agreed.
No,
egregious
it's
or
not-
whatever.
so.
Linka retweeted our announcement of the podcast today, by the way. I just saw, but I don't think I've read anything regarding that.
Big Chief Holinka. Shout out to Holinka.
Hello,
Yes.
Holinka.
I don't know if he's watching,
Uh,
but
Yeah,
if
that,
so, you have to send the cookies back.
Yeah. Give us the cookies back.
I'm pretty sure they're gone. They're probably already gone by now.
Okay.
So, as far, did you guys want to say anything else about the conquest errors or grievous gear, blah blah blah? I think we kind of
the only
wrapped.
thing. The only thing I would like to add is that I just think that, I mean, this, like I've been saying, this stuff has been happening for so long. I don't think it's good enough anymore. Like, with Helenka coming in and there's a lot of good changes coming in 5.4, this increases like our expectations of like what Blizzard's doing, and you know, this isn't professional. Like that's just not professional. If that happens. That this kind of has to. They have to get better at this sort of thing. That's all I want to add.
Yeah.
What's really frustrating, I think, is that, like, with Twitter nowadays and Holinka being on Twitter, like, it feels so easy to get in contact with someone at Blizzard who can actually make a change happen.
Yep.
And it feels like before, the majority of stuff we had to complain about was like, oh, this class is overpowered. Can you please fix this class? Vanish doesn't work properly. Can you fix Vanish, please? Whereas nowadays we're having problems where it's like, everything is broken. Can you please fix it? And that just seems kind of, it feels frustrating because instead of being able to whine about class balance, we have to whine about fixing the game.
Well, it's not, it's not even Holinka on Twitter. I mean, there's so many CMs from Blizzard on Twitter now that you can contact a 100 different of them. I mean, not on the same level as Holinka is, but there's just, that's actually a good thing though, honestly. I mean, more customer support is, and they actually respond too, which is really nice. Well, not all the time, but a lot of the times.
I think it's really crazy how responsive they are to everyone.
Yeah.
Like I've spoken to Helenka a bunch of times, and we've had like tweets that go further than just me tweeting him and him tweeting me back. Like you can tweet back and forth a few times. So
Full
it's
conversations.
pretty cool. It's pretty cool that the people at Blizzard are so active within the community. It would just be nice if conquest bugs didn't happen and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, they are definitely trying, and it's vastly, as said before, it's vastly improved over Cataclysm. But still, I actually didn't get the announcement of it. I'm following PvP news pretty closely, and I never read anything about this arena and RBG thing not happening. I mean, it's not too big of an issue. But still, I mean, it's kind of strange. Also, I'm not actually sure if the Holinka account is actually kind of official. On most Blizzard employees, you see this line of everything written here is not the view of my employer or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, is Holinka like the official account? Is what he's doing 100% Blizzard announcement, or is it a private account? You guys know that?
I think it's kind of somewhere in between.
Yeah, I mean,
makes sense.
as far as posts go, or as far as tweets go that he posts, they're all Blizzard related. I mean, as far as for the most part at least.
No, he's talking about the Buffaloes or something about football.
Oh, Buffalo
American
Bills.
football.
Oh, well, I take that
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
then.
I think on the weekends, Halinka likes to chill it out and
To
let
mix it up a bit.
his Twitter just becomes a place where he can talk about whatever he's interested in. But during the week, he's all business. Okay, he only
Yeah.
cares about the balance.
Right.
So, so I think he uses it for both. But yeah, it seems pretty cool.
So moving on, as far as Blizzard changed the rated battleground queuing. So they implemented a hotfix to restrict players' ability to queue for a rated battleground if they just left a previous RBG prematurely. What are your thoughts, Paul? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, they had to do something. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at the RBG queues in Europe, especially, it's the ladder. I mean, the top 50 is like naked characters. So it's like, and I remember I spoke to you about this earlier. I remember, like, during RBGs last season, I played sometimes at like 3 p.m. or something like that in the afternoon, and it was like we'd queue up, there would be against one person who would instantly leave, and then the team rating would say like -9 points or something, and you would get 0.
Yeah.
And that happened a lot. I mean, that it wasn't just one time. There were some days where you would queue for like 2 or 3 hours, and you would just get 0 points the whole time because it's the same teams. It's just I don't know if this is a fix for that, but it's better than nothing, shall we say? So it's nice that they're doing something. So.
Tobias, what are your thoughts on the RBG queue fix?
I think it's a good thing they start fixing things. I still think the biggest issue with RBGs is probably the ladders. If you take a look at the current RBG ladders, we have things that, let's say, indicate a lot that there has been some win trading going on. Ungeared people on 3,000 something ratings or so.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the queue fix is good. But a decisive thing at the moment is probably people getting rating exploits working. And I think that has been on these battle groups going on for a long time. And now, it's affecting everyone because we have a combined ladder. And especially in the EU, I think it's the case. I don't think it's as bad in the US with the RPGs. But they need to fix it, obviously.
Davis, what are your thoughts on the RBG fix for the queues?
The RBG, I think it discourages win trading and stuff like that, but I don't think it necessarily fixes it because I don't know. Like, I don't think they particularly care. Like, in theory, they're meant to be running into their own team, if I'm correct. If that's win trading, then they're meant to be running into their own team. So it's not like they're leaving early anyway. Like, the only times they'll leave early is when they meet someone that they aren't meant to meet. So I don't think it really impacts them that much. But I mean, I think it's okay. Like, I guess it encourages you to stay in the RPG and try and win, even if you feel like all hope is lost.
Well,
or you just all AFK and wait for them to run 3 flags. I don't know. But,
right. It seems like they're at least on the right path. Paul, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, it was just like when this first happened. Just remember the first time we saw this, there was like a team with, I think it was like, was it 4,000 RPG rating someone had, and it was obvious to everyone that it was win trader, etc. Because the name of the character was named after a Skype. You know, it was like, it was advertising the Skype, and it was like, add this Skype to that, and you can get boosted for it. And so that was cataclysm. That was early cataclysm, and we're only getting a change now. That's like nearly 2 years. And just want to point out, and someone just reminded me about this in this chat. The 5s ladder is the same. It's becoming like the RBG ladder as well. There's a lot of like naked people at the top.
This is actually. I'm glad you actually just brought that up, Paul. This is a huge problem right now on the EU ladder. It's filled with green geared, undergeared, basically no geared toons, just completely filling the ladder. I mean, Davis, starting with you, what are your thoughts on this? It seems pretty out of control.
Well, I really don't like it because I'm quite high rated in fives, and I'm just beneath a billion people who have really low gear levels and have 500 rating higher than me or whatever.
Right.
And the thing I really worry about is before all this kind of win trading and stuff happened on, very select battle groups and things like that. I mean, there's always been win trading in battle groups, but at this kind of level, it's always been in specific battle groups that didn't really affect the rest of us. But nowadays, it does affect the rest of us, and it affects the rest of us that could get titles or won't get titles or, whatever. And it's, I don't know. I'm just worried that I think it would be a huge shame if at the end of the season the only like Grievous Gladiators and stuff like that from fives and things like that are just names that are just question marks, which is what like Russian characters appear as on people without the Russian client. So I think it would be a shame if that happened.
You know what's really interesting is that it doesn't seem that there's any kind of problem in the 5v5 ladder on the U.S. realms. What's going on in EU? What's causing this exactly?
There isn't any leadership here. Like it's just what I was saying. There's no consequences for this behavior.
It's just like a big free for all.
I mean they've been
let's
doing it
say,
for.
Sorry, but like in Cataclysm, I remember there was a Russian team that they win traded to like 3.6k rating or something, and that character their team was reset, and he got I think it was like a 3-hour ban. This is what he said on Arena Junkie, so I can't obviously say that's the truth. But I mean, a 3-hour ban for that? I mean, it should be a lot more than that. I think there's just no punishment, at least nothing that matters, shall we say? If there was harsher punishments, you probably wouldn't see this. And this is something like, I think the problem comes from this is that Blizzard, way back in the Burning Crusade, I'm going way back here, the first time they ever actually tried to do something seriously about win trading, they made a huge mistake about it. Like, I'm talking season 2 or season 3 here. They literally, every single person I think this started on US realms. I don't think it ever happened on EU realms because they started on US realms. They reset the teams and the gear of everyone who spoke in game about Arena. And you think about it, most of the top players back then were in the same guild, so they literally reset thousands of people, and there was a huge backlash about this. And of course, they had to reset everything. I don't think they could give people their teams back, but they gave everyone their gear back, etc. And that was literally the last time this happened. The Blizzard did anything seriously huge to combat win trading. They've done small things in individual seasons here and then, like season 8 there was a lot of win trading. They did some stuff about that on certain BGs but not other ones, etc. There's just no consistency in what they do. Like I remember, just another small example, I know I'm going on a bit about this, back in season 8 there was 2 different battle groups, Blackout and Reckoning. Both of them had teams that were sharing. One had 3 teams, one had 4 teams. One of them got reset, the other one didn't. So, and these are 2 English BGs as well, so it's not like you can say, oh, it's different because there's a German team that, controlled this or whatever. There's just no consistency. What happens on one BG doesn't happen on another. There's no rules or no guidelines to say this is what needs to happen. It's like there's no, I don't even know, like, are Blizzard saying that you can share the title but not with more than 3 teams? I don't know. Like, does anyone even know what the rules are about this? There's nothing in the terms of service about this. Yeah, no one knows.
Hildegard, your mic is muted.
Oh, that's embarrassing. I was talking like loud and everything.
That's all right. We didn't miss much.
Yeah, back again. Okay. Actually, I want to respond to Spats. I don't think they on the chat here. It's not a zombie game, and I don't think they don't care. I think they actually started caring in MOP, but they have to work through some things. Holinka told us on the interview I did with him for Arena Junkie some 2 months back or so that they also improved the tools for tracking all this win trading stuff. And I know in the past, for example, when bots were banned, they didn't ban right away when they were able to ban a bot, but they waited for some time to actually catch the people. And so you don't know if that isn't happening actually. And We have seen some improvements. We are still far away from really getting them done or getting them complete. But I think we have to give Blizzard some credit for some of the things they have been doing. There's still a lot of a long list of issues that need to be dealt with. And this is something I said, I think it was last week. Blizzard needs to decide about WoW PvP. After the no regionals thing, they either have to step up their game considerably, or they have to just say, okay, Arena is a fun little aspect of the game. We keep it that way, but don't expect too much out of it. We won't promote it with a big BlizzCon tournament in the future. We just scale it down. And so they either have to go to make it really a bit more professional, to have rules, to have tournaments and stuff like that, or they have to really scale it down. In my opinion, WoW has still a huge potential. As we were talking about before, bring a rope to the BlizzCon and you have a lot of viewers. I still think this game can do something, can get really big. Not League of Legends big, but a lot bigger, and I think actually fewer numbers bigger than StarCraft, for example. But yeah, it's depending on if they're willing up their game and bring the resources in they need to do for it.
Well, you know, not to step ahead of myself, Tobias, but I mean that's kind of what we're trying to do too. You know,
Yeah.
we're trying to build large tournaments, and I know we're starting small right now, but we just started up. So, you know, guys, honestly, in the future, please, you know, follow us on Twitter, follow our stream right now on Twitch, you know, bookmark our website. This is exactly what we're trying to do, guys. If you want to see, you know, hopefully in the very soon future, large tournaments coming back to Blizzard or coming back to, you know, arena competition in World of Warcraft, that's exactly what we're trying to do, and we're trying really hard to do it. So, Tobias, I don't know if you want to touch base on that at all.
Yes, we have been starting to work on things. We built a tournament team. We managed to get up a new screen design that allows switching between in-game scenes, and Jason talking with Paul as our expert. So we've been working a lot of hours to build up a tournament team. We are still looking for teams that play on these show matches. We are also working on US. Vihal, that is actually watching, told me he might want to cast in the future again. And so we are also building up a US team. And what we are aiming for, it's an aim and it's in the future, but we are pretty much want to go into the direction of VZS, that is the StarCraft International Tournament, to do this for World of Warcraft. And we want to start slow, and we want to start out with quality work. So we don't want to make big announcements, we'll do that or we do that. And just like we built a team, we can need all your support with playing in the team, spreading our stream, following us and stuff like that. And we want to seriously bring back tournaments on the level MLG had it in Wrath of the Lich King. We want to do tournaments that are exciting and much, much better done as many of the previous tournaments you have watched.
We want to make tournaments as big as League of Legends. That's what we're aiming for, guys. I'm serious. I mean, I'm not saying in the next couple months, but honestly, PvP Live is aiming for the stars. I'm telling you right now. We're going to get some big things in the works. So I'm pretty excited about it. Moving on real quick, you know, one of the last things I want to touch on is this amazing post that Eldacar posted on our website. He's one of our bloggers. He wrote an excellent in-depth theory crafting article that is way beyond my head. I'm not even going to begin to talk about it. I'm horrible at math to begin with. I know nothing about theory crafting. So I'm gonna start with Tobias on this one. Do you want to talk about this excellent article and maybe link it in our stream chat?
I already linked it.
Thank you.
Eldacar is one of the best PvP theory crafters out there, and he recently joined in our blogger team. And one of his most read articles are the PvP and resilience guides, and he updates them each time something changes. And he did it for 5.4, and the results are. I mean, I can't cover the whole topic now. The results are. Resilience is still really strong. PvP gear is better than PvE gear, definitely this season. So probably won't see too much PvE gear in the arenas. I think jamming for primary stats is probably better, but he didn't really say it. He just offered a map. And Davis, you talked to me before. What did I miss?
Yeah, I think that's it really. Is that resilience is still good, but gemming for primary stats and stuff is better unless you really feel like you're going to be attacked. PvP power isn't worth being gemmed for. The damage reduction from the 2 trinkets is crazy good. The 2 PvP trinkets is really good. And yeah, that's all I can remember really. But it's good to see that at least mathematically, PvP gear is better. But there's always strange situations that can make PvE gear better. So I'm just waiting for that to appear. But for the time being, it seems okay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure Eldacar is one of the only theory crafters for PvP. I mean, as far as that in depth goes, yeah, honestly, guys, I mean, if you want to look at some real statistics, go to pvp-live.com, check out his post. There's graphs, it's unbelievable. The math that's involved in it.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's very impressive if you're into hard
There's
numbers.
graphs.
If there's graphs, it's completely legit. So
It is. Yeah.
Like maths, you'll love it.
Exactly. I think that's pretty much everything. That's every kind of topic that we wanted to cover for this podcast. I think we're just going to end real quickly with some shout outs, starting with Davis.
Shout out to all my boys in the hood, and that's about as far as it goes. Yeah.
That's a sad shout out. Tobias.
Yeah.
Down to you.
Shout out to my mom, because Davis didn't shout out to his mom.
Ooh.
Also, yes, important. And also shout out to Areden, who couldn't make it today. And shout out to all the guys around PvP Live and my guild, High Quality on Equin.
How about Paul? How about yourself? Any shout outs?
Oh yeah, I've been getting spammed again. I'm being spammed by Vile, so I shout out to him. Dijon, shout out to him. My friend Miguel, who hasn't played WoW in like 2 years, so you should come back and play again, because it's looking good. And my guild on Sylvanas, Cultivated Gentleman. And I'll shout out to my old guild on Outland. We are Pro K, so shout out to them.
Excellent. I really don't have any shout outs. I'm just going to say thank you to Aridin that couldn't be here today again for helping out with everything today. And thank you, everyone, to the PvP Live staff. Guys, I wish, honestly, the viewers, I wish you guys could be in our Skype chat sometimes. We have this huge, long, this big chat group, and there's some great conversations going on at all times. Other than that, please go to pvp-live.com, bookmark it, follow our stream here on Twitch, and follow us on Twitter. Thank you, everyone. Follow myself on Twitter, @MacawTV.
Follow Jason.
Come on. I have 35 followers. You guys kidding me? I know you guys are on Twitter.
Follow Jason.
Follow me.
You have 39, I think. You already got some
Tobias,
new ones.
stalking me. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna link it here, all the Twitter accounts.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah. This is Jason, and next will be Davis. Let me just check here. Is Davis
also,
and Paul.
There.
Where's Paul? Where's Paul? Here.
I think.
And honestly, guys, if you guys want to see large tournaments, prize pools and stuff like that, we're working on it. Just have faith in us. Get our viewership up. Tell your friends. Tell everyone about PvP Live, and we're gonna try to make it happen. So. Thank you, everyone, and until next Sunday, goodbye.
Have a good
Bye.
day.